Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess, and this is going to be the first ever episode of the Neuro Spicy Knitter podcast. So grab your beverage of choice and let's get started. Again, thank you guys for joining me here. So a couple quick things before we get into the actual part of the podcast. I plan on running it like a typical podcast. We're going to do projects, so that'll include like whips and finished items and anything else I might have on the needles or on the horizon. Then we'll have acquisitions if I actually have any. I'm actually trying not to buy as much yarn this year. So far it's not successful, as you will later see. And then we'll go over a quick little life update and stuff like that. And anything else I have to usually note on. Usually the note will be at the end of the podcast. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get into projects. So I do have a couple things kind of on the needles. There's a few that are on the back burner kind of at the moment, just because the one I'm about to show you kind of needs to get done by a week from yesterday. So I have like 6 days to finish it in total because it's for my grandmother's birthday. I am making her a pair of socks. My little fidget this past couple weeks. This yarn is honestly wasn't my jam, but I knew like I was gonna make it into something. I got it from my Yarnable box, I think a few months ago. I don't remember what box it was, but this is the Raven colorway. It's fingering weight yarn. I am just doing the vanilla sock. I don't really follow any specific pattern. It's a 20 row 20 row 2x2 cuff. I'm obsessed with this kind of cuff lately. I don't know, I just like the way it looks. And then I'm doing a 50 row leg and then heel flap and gusset. And then obviously this is to her size. I really like how these are coming out, and this just goes to show you, don't judge a yarn by the skein. So her birthday is February 11th, and I think 25 rows into the next leg of it. So fingers crossed that I finish it in time, which I should, because I have the math down that I can finish a total pair of socks in like 8 days, if that's like the sole project I'm working on. So I finished this one and I started the other one yesterday, so hoping to make a little bit more progress on that today, hopefully, because she's home. And then also hopefully the rest of the week. I'm hoping to block them by Thursday. If you follow me on Instagram, I'll keep you guys updated on how this ends up going, because I've got also another project in the works which I can't share with you today, but I will share with you on the next podcast, because the person they're making them for watches it. So I'm not going to show you just yet, but I will be able to show you at least an FO picture. So the next thing I'm working on is a little bit on the back burner, and if you follow me on Instagram, you already know that I've been working on this. It is in Bags by Awesome Granny. I believe that's her name on Etsy. Saw that the Crazy Sock Lady recommended her bags, and I was like, I need a big bag because I have several projects throughout this year that are gonna take more than like 5 skeins of yarn. So I wanted to make sure I had plenty of yarn to do, plenty of bag space. And I only have one other bag like this, and I love reading, and I thought it was perfect. So what lives in here currently is my habitation throw. For the life of me, can't remember the designer's name, but I will put it down here somewhere and I will link it in the description box. But this is how it's coming out. It's all tangled. Oh, look how pretty it is. I haven't worked on this in like 2 weeks now, which I'm a little disappointed about because I really have been enjoying this knit. It's so simple and I love it. I've been doing, so Knit Knack Sack. I will link his Ravelry down below for where I found it. He's got modifications, so I'm doing a main color and then I'm doing the other, like the Advent skein. So, and then it's like alternating kind of thing. His notes are very good, very detailed, and it's coming out great. So it's like, it'll end up starting with 1 and then going to 24. And then my plan is to, I think what you're supposed to do is start with 1 again and then go back down to 24. So you have like the whole, you use like a lot of it and it's gonna come out so pretty. I'm so excited. So that is the other project, one of the other projects I'm working on. One more to show you guys, if I can get it without dropping everything. So I have everything on the floor next to me because I don't have a table over here. You guys are propped up on my desk, actually under the box that I got from Hedgehog Fibers for my Advent. So that's fun. So I am on the other project I have. Don't have it very much started, but I wanted to have it started before I started doing the socks. Is Shawlography. Did section 1. Look how pretty this green is. So this is, I don't remember the, let me see if I have the, I usually put the tags in the thing. So these are by, this is by Life in the Long Grass. And the colors I'm using are Antique, Autumn, Emerald, which is the green I just showed you guys, Powder Puff, and Queen. They are so pretty. Let me show you. I don't remember what colors what. So we're just gonna have to pretend that we know what colors what. So here is this one. And then here's the other one. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to hold all of these. Here's the green. And then there's this pinky mauvey color. And then this one. Look how, so I got this, let's see if I can actually bring this down a little bit. So I got this from a kit from Stephen West. I hadn't learned just exactly how to knit yet when Shawlography was going on, but I loved the shawl and the way it looked. And before me, I did not know what shawls were. I didn't know they existed or anything like that. And when I found out that a shawl was basically like a blanket you could take with you to keep you warm, yeah, I was hooked, because I love blankets. I'm actually have a blanket on my lap currently, not one I've knit, just one of my favorite blankets, like throw blankets I like to have. And I was like, I'm sold. I'm always cold when I go out, and that way it's a nice way to keep myself warm, but also to, it looks cute. And you look behind me, I actually have my Slipstravaganza shawl here, which is probably my most worn shawl. I have 2 more, which I also really like, but they're not as big. And I like the, I think Stephen West calls it schlankets. So I like the schlanketness of shawls. So I want them to be big and oversized more than small. So that is what I'm working on currently. So let's get into acquisitions. originally filmed this podcast like 2 weeks ago, and I had like no acquisitions, and I'm like, this is gonna be a super short podcast. I should just wait till everything comes in. And I think just about everything came in except for the skein from the some subscription from Fangirl Fiber. I'm doing the Taylor Swift eras because I'm also obsessed with Taylor Swift, of course. And I was like, I can't not have it. So I think that comes in tomorrow. So I will probably show you guys that on the next one. So let's start with the first ones I see here. So remember how I said earlier that I'm not buying yarn this year? Yeah, well, so far that's not doing too great. So I bought the Hits collection by Sorella. I had like a brain moment. So this is 1989, Taylor Swift inspired, which the camera's making this look so pretty right now. Look at that. Look how pretty that is. So I got 2 of these. I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. I'm thinking maybe some sort of like tank top or summer top. I think that'll look really pretty. And then this is Richard and Rory. Look how pretty that is. It's a good thing I sit in front of a window. Those are really pretty. I want to do socks with Richard and Rory. Huge Gilmore Girls fan, especially since it's out of Connecticut and I know a lot of the locations they film. So I'm very excited to knit that up. And then I also got the 1989 wool wash, which I don't currently have on me. It's actually put away right now, so I'm not going to go get it. But I do have the 1989 hand cream, which smells delicious or good or whatever you want to think something smells good for. It's good. I like it. I actually have another one that they put out during the fall time, so this one stays in like my little Notions pouch I carry on me, and I just put a little, like, you don't need more than like a little, like a tiny dab, so this thing will like last me forever. So next thing I got was the Dragon Horde yarn subscription box. I'm not in the obvious, I didn't get like the whole year or whatever, like sign up for the whole year or whatever, like I did with Fangirl Fibers. But this is their Lord of the Rings box. The colorway is called Hobbiton, and I love it. And I have several Lord of the Rings fans in my family. My brother, my dad, and my boyfriend all are huge fans, so one of them will probably either get a pair of socks out of it or a hat or something. And I think it came out really pretty, and I love her colorways. Same with Sorella, love their colorways too. It's so hard when they come out with stuff I really want to not just auto buy. I gotta tell myself I can't do that. So another subscription. This one's a 6-month subscription from Junk Yarn. If you haven't realized by now, I do a lot of fandom buying. So if like you come out with a colorway that is fandom inspired, I will definitely be trying to add that to my cart. And Junk Yarn did not disappoint with this one. She is doing a Sailor Moon and Friends subscription for like the first 6 months of the year. I think it's 6 months. And there are different things that can be inspired by. She said Powerpuff Girls, obviously Sailor Moon, Rainbow Bright. I think She-Ra was one of them. Just listing off what I have on the top of my head. And I obviously did not watch those when they were in their prime, but I watched a lot of them growing up, just like with my dad and stuff like that. And so I've got really good memories watching like the old 80s cartoons, and then obviously I have watched the 90s. So it was a little bit nostalgic seeing that, and I was like, I hope she comes out with a good, if she does do one for She-Ra, that she does one for She-Ra. I hope she does do one for She-Ra, because that would be awesome, because I would make socks for my dad out of it, because he's been asking for a pair of socks. But this month she did Powerpuff Girls, and to say that I was not like jumping around the house in my glory because of this colorway is an understatement. I was so excited that this was a color, like these were the colors she picked. It's so pretty. Like I don't even know what I want to make out of it yet because I love it so much. But I cannot wait for next month and see what she comes up with. It's one thing I like about these subscriptions is I am always surprised with what I am getting. So I have one more, well technically it's like 5 more skeins, but it's for a project. I actually picked this for a project. That's like my one stipulation this year, is if I'm buying a larger quantity of yarn from somewhere, I want it to be for a project. And those don't count. We're doing January as like a wash. So like starting February, or yeah, starting at the beginning of this month, we're not buying any more yarn, right? Right, so let me get these. So I want to make the Traveler 2.0 wrap, and I originally saw this color on the Hedgehog Fiber website. This is Jelly Bean, and I fell in love with it, and I was like, this would be pretty as a color in a wrap, and I don't know what I want to put it in. So I picked this color, and then this color, which is Flamingo. Look how pretty that is. That's such a nice pretty hot pink. And then before I drop it, Butter, which I don't usually like yellow, but I saw this and I was like, it's really pretty. If you can't tell, also, I don't really have colors I gravitate towards. If it's pretty, I want it. That's a problem. So we have these, and then we have, which this one's called Skinny Dip. And I'm hoping this works for this wrap. I have no idea if it will or not. And then we have this one, Crystal, which is more of like the neutral color that I picked for the color palette. So if I can pick them up, look how I'm dropping it. Look how pretty these look together. And then like Jelly Bean ties everything together perfectly, and I thought Traveler 2.0 would look, or Traveler or Travel 2.0, I'll have it linked in the description box. I'll have it, would be perfect for that wrap. So I'm hoping I can get them to come together really good. It looks like Easter to me, so I wanna like hopefully make it before Easter so I can wear it for Easter, or around Easter, or for the spring, like springy colors. I'm so ready for spring. I'm so tired of it being cold here in New England. I hate the cold. But you know, that's all I have for my acquisitions, and now into life updates. So for life stuff, first off, I want to go into why I wanted the title Neuro Spicy. For me, I'm neurospicy. If you don't know what that term means, it just means my brain works a little bit differently than someone who's neurotypical, who, neurospicy people, they kind of like, their brains work a little bit different than other people. It's not that we think outside the box, it's just, I am not figuring out how to explain this right. Let me look it up really. So the technical term is neurodivergent. I personally like neurospicy better. It just describes people and how their brains work. That means they have different strengths and challenges from people whose brains don't have the possible differences, or medical disorders, learning disabilities, and other conditions. Just when you look up neurodivergent, that's just what comes up. So that I want to make sure, like, when you come here, you know that everyone's kind of welcome. And if you don't like that, okay, bye. Like, I was only able to find, like, specific stuff about me because through my social media and it popping up, and I just was like, this is how my brain works. And it's okay to be a little different. If you're not a little weird, what are you doing? Like, for me, I just really like just being a little different and normal. What's normal? Who's normal? So I think we're all just a little tiny neurospicy, but to me it's important to show it through social media, and I really just want you guys to know that. Anyway, off of a heavier topic to something a little bit lighter, what I'm watching. I currently on Netflix, I'm watching Cobra Kai, and I'm trying to get through all 5 seasons before March, the end of March, whenever Netflix is supposed to be doing that password change thing, because my family, we share our password, just so, like, I'm sure most of you guys share your password with your families. I just think it's stupid, and I think we're going to be canceling if and when that goes into effect. So, looking at my notes. Sorry, guys. So I'm currently watching Cobra Kai, and if there's a season 6 that comes out, I'll buy it for the month, watch it on my computer, and then cancel, because it's not worth it. And then on Hulu, I'm watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I have a coworker at work who, I don't know how she talked me into watching it, but she did. So I am watching Buffy. I'm on season 4, episode 3. So if you've seen it, don't tell me any spoilers. I don't want to know. And I like it so far. I'm into, like, the fantasy supernatural kind of thing. So I have been enjoying it thus far. And then I'm currently reading, I've been reading this book since, I think, a couple weeks ago. I just haven't. So being neurospicy, your brain goes through different phases of wanting to do stuff or not wanting to do something. So I haven't been in the mood to read, so I've been listening to podcasts instead. But the book I am currently reading is The Crown of Gilded Bone by, I think it's Jennifer Laurent. I got this, guys. Oh, Jennifer L. Armentrout. That's who it's by. It's the From Blood and Ash series. It's so good. And if you like fantasy and a little bit of, like, spiciness to your book, is good. If you don't like spicy parts to your book, don't read it. The first book isn't that bad, but the rest of the series gets a little heat to it. I don't mind, but others might not like it. So, but if you're into fantasy spice. Highly recommend the series. It's so far so good. The Crown of Gilded Bone, I want to say it's the 3rd book in the series, and I think there's going to be like 6 total. So I think the 4th one just came out, which is The War of Two Queens, which is the next one I have to read. And then I think there's 2 more after that, which probably is part of the reason why I don't want to read. I haven't been reading it because I don't like waiting for things to come out. I'm very impatient, which is fine. But then I'll never finish any books. But hopefully by the end of February, I'll have read something to be able to talk to you guys about more. But so far so good. I really like the series. But since I haven't been reading, I've been listening to podcasts, and a couple podcasts I really like listening to are Morbid by the hosts are Ash and Elena. I like true crime. They do a very good job of like fact checking and going to the background and stuff like that. And I listen to a lot of like this kind of stuff at work when I'm in the office, just because it helps me to focus on what I'm doing. So don't ask me why. I really like it. Highly recommend the podcast if you're into true crime or if you're looking to get into true crime. Like I said, they do a great job about going into detail about not the crime itself, but like the victim's backgrounds and then the killer's backgrounds, because to me it's important to understand like how the person got to that point, and it doesn't feel scripted, and it feels like you're kind of listening to friends talk. And that's what I really like about it. And then the other one that I've been listening to is Two Hot Takes. Not a true crime podcast, but it is a podcast that reads Reddit stories, and some of these Reddit stories are like crazy. Who knows if they're real or not, some of them. But I really like listening to them. Just feels like two friends listening, like listening to a story, and they all talk about what happens and like give advice and tips to like maybe how to help out the situation, not knowing if these people are ever going to listen to the podcast, but for some reason I like listening to other people's drama because it makes mine feel a little bit less, if that makes any sense. So that is what I'm up to. I don't think I have any other life stuff going on at the moment, like besides like my grandmother's birthday is coming up. So obviously on the next podcast I'll tell you how she likes the socks. And then yeah, that's all I really got for you guys today. If you've made it this far, I appreciate you. You are so appreciated on this podcast, and I hope you return for another one. If you want to see me anywhere else, I have my project page, Ravelry, linked below. And then I also have my Instagram links. I'm very active on Instagram, so if you want to interact with me on a more daily basis, you can find me there. Anyways, I hope you like it. It's my first podcast, so if you have any tips and tricks, leave them down below, please. I will certainly appreciate it and take everything into consideration within reason, obviously. And I hope you subscribe, like this video, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your month. I will see you in the next podcast. Happy knitting!